Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Woo! Are you pumped, John?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
What is going on, all you sci-fi action movie junkies out there? It's your boy, Fat Samurai Guy, back again with another Is It Underrated episode. And it's always an honor and a pleasure to have the man, the myth, the legend, the icon, the immortal John Hancock. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me back on. I always enjoy talking to you. You got a great channel.
Well, I appreciate that, man. Thank you so much. Thank you. And it was a blast having you on here last time when we talked about Doom Annihilation.
Oh, yeah.
If you guys want to hear, our thoughts on that,
man.
Make sure you check out that video. I'll leave the link in the description box below. But yeah, we love video games, and thanks again for coming on the podcast. And that's when I first met you, and which was awesome. And then we was like, you know what? It was like we were talking about our love for video games, which merged into films.
Yeah.
And then we just couldn't stop talking about movies. And then we were like, you know, we got to do some more movie reviews. So it's good to have you back here on the channel. And man, we got a doozy one today. No Escape. What's your history on this one?
Well, my kind of semi-fuzzy memory, but I want to say that my first experience with this is definitely fits that B-movie rental. I remember seeing a poster. I don't know what rental store, but you know, this came out the year I graduated high school. So I probably saw it, what movies came out typically, a year or two later. So 95. So probably in college or around that time. I saw a poster at a rental store, and my brother and I were like, hey, that looks kind of cool. Let's get that. Let's rent that. So it was at a mom and pop rental store, probably in my hometown of Cottonwood in California, and at the time. And so, I remember seeing it with my brother and really enjoying it. I didn't read the book, which it's based on, but, you know, it definitely kind of fits that wheelhouse of the time. We had, that post-apocalyptic kind of future, doom and gloom, but not having a budget to do it. And so this kind of fits that. So it all depends. I think for people going into this, you need to remember the mid-90s. Like, they didn't have the technology that they have now. Like even TV shows look like movies now with the special effects that they can pull off. And back then, I do believe this has some computer-generated effects, but holy cow, they have not aged well.
You get some fun little models in the beginning,
You do, but I think you're a big fan of those cult classic movies, and you can forgive the special effects just because some of the characters really carry this movie above and beyond their budget, because it didn't do well. I looked up the stats. Yeah, like it bombed. Like I think the budget was 20 million, and I think it made 15 million at the box office. So nobody cared about this. Most people probably were like me and just waited for it to be on VHS and watched it that way.
Yeah, I saw my history with the movie was I saw the trailer and I was like, I always remember that. You want it? Come and get it. Yeah, like I always remember that. And I was like, well, that looks like could be a cool action movie. At that time, I wasn't familiar with Ray Liotta's work yet until I got over. Then I watched Goodfellas and all that stuff. But I didn't get a chance to go see it in theater. But I was VHS, I believe. I just rented it on VHS, and I remember
think many people thought that way because it was that time. It was a perfect, to me, it really screamed, hey, this may not be as good enough to see in a theater, but watch it at home. Because to me, I totally watched it, and I remember really enjoying it. And, and liking it with my brother.
Yeah, it's a fun flick. And after I watched it on VHS, I was like, that was a kick-ass little small movie that just came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
But we do have some heavy hitters in here, though, man.
Yes, you do.
You were talking about the characters carry the film, the actors, directed by Martin Campbell of GoldenEye and Casino Royale fame.
That's huge.
I know, right? Ray Liotta's in this. Rest in peace, R.I.P. Ray Liotta.
Yes.
Lance Henriksen as the father. We have Stuart Wilson as Walter Merrick, who he's like my favorite character in this movie because he's kind of over the top, and I really enjoyed him. Kevin J. O'Connor, Kevin Dillon, Jack Shepard as Dysart, and of course the always always reliable and lovable Ernie Hudson, and many others are
Yeah.
in this.
Definitely
Yeah,
remember Ernie Hudson in it, and the father for sure. You know, to me, he's I do Bishop from Alien.
Yeah,
And he was in lots of other things.
Terminator,
but,
first one. Yeah, he's Lance Henriksen is legend status.
Yeah,
as well as Ray Liotta. But yeah, man, I was like, that was a kick-ass movie. Like, I really enjoyed it. And then later, I meant to buy it on DVD, and I couldn't find it. And then it got hard to find on VHS even.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what is going on? It was like the movie literally disappeared.
I had it on DVD. It had that paper sleeve.
Yeah, that's the one I got.
And so I eventually got it. I thinned down my DVD set. I don't know where you can stream this now. But
I tried to find streaming services the other day. But just for a quick watch. But it took Samurai Guy. I had to like go overseas to like not fly, but I had to go order from Australia. They actually had a version of it, and Escape from Absalom was what it was called when it was released overseas, which is the name of the prison on the island. But yeah, it was until I finally found it on DVD. It was kind of hard to find. And I was like, man. And then when I did a little bit more research on the film, it kind of broke my heart a little bit, because the creator wanted to cast against type. There was actual purpose for Ray Liotta to star as this character, because Ray Liotta, this is his first big action movie. This might still, in a way, kind of be his biggest action movie role, actually, if you think about it. It might be. Don't quote me on that. But in terms of him being the action star and the hero and taking dudes out and all that, I don't think
he's not known for that. Like, he's known as a supporting character, right? And he's always in a movie and a part of a movie, but doesn't carry a movie. And this one, he's in that focus of like about him.
I think Goodfellas was definitely before this, so this was kind of definitely a huge career change for him. But it was kind of on purpose. The creator wanted someone against type, because he wanted the audience to kind of doubt the visually the person who's going to be the badass, and then later in the movie you're like, oh, this guy's actually badass. That was kind of like the point of it. But the studio was like, no, they were kind of against it. They wanted someone like a Jean-Claude Van Damme, who was still hot at the time, especially with Universal.
Yeah.
And I hate to say the studio was right, because I'm usually against this kind of stuff. I want the original creator to have his vision, for better or for worse. I don't like it when studio comes in and goes, no, we're going to change script, we're going to change all this. But they didn't want that. They wanted a Van Damme, and I hate to say this, I think it would have been a hit if they had a known action star. So I'm glad the original creator stuck to his guns. And he still got his vision, even though it ended up, sinking the film. But man, right in the beginning of this movie, I was like, holy shit. When I first watched it.
Oh, yeah. That was the hook, line, and sinker for me. Boom. That was like, and I love that. I love it when a film just out of nowhere just goes right for the jugular.
Oh yeah.
And it was really a cool aesthetic. And this film, even though it had a low budget, it really did try. I think I like what they tried to do with it. I know that the budget was probably pretty thin, for like a main release. Obviously this is not just a direct to VHS. This was a theatrical release, and I had all those rules and regulations and big budget stresses. And I would love to see. I have not watched, if there is one, if there's been a commentary, like an audio commentary. I don't even know if this is on Blu-ray. I'd love to track it down and maybe get the backstory of doing this feature. I bet there's some interesting stories.
Well, there's a little bit of special features on the copy I have. Awesome. And but it was short. It was short and sweet, but it had some fun behind the scenes information. But yeah, let's just go ahead and jump right into the movie. So obviously, Lieutenant Robbins took out his superior officer.
Yeah, it's probably
And-
not going to bode well for him.
Yeah. So he ended up getting sent straight to Leviticus. It was interesting how the movie opens up with text saying that prisons were big business and were kind of owned by corporations. That was interesting. But yeah, he gets sent here. Things do not look good for him at all.
No.
But we get introduced to the warden here.
Oh, yeah.
And he's laying the law down. He's like, you mess around, you're gonna find out there's life after death. And I love what Leota's character says. He goes, because he goes, that's the law. And is there anything you'd like to add? And then Robbins goes, don't ever turn your back on me again. That was fucking dope, man.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, to me, that was like communicating, okay, he's not messing around. Now, he took out his superior officer due to he wanted him to like kill civilians in Benghazi or something. It was
Yeah,
like
so a huge bombing run. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
And that's basically why he took him out. But it wasn't just that, it was the military covered it up.
oh yeah.
Like hundreds of women and children died, and the women and the military covered it up, and they gave him a medal.
Yeah.
For it.
And he was
So-
not having that.
Yeah. And it was really cool throughout the movie because they didn't tell you right away what his deal was, like what his issues was, what happened in the past. They let that build, even the characters that surround him that later in the movie, they're wondering like, what's wrong with him? What's going on? And then you have this really great, fantastic scene where he just finally breaks down. He just breaks down, starts crying, really great performance here by Ray. But yeah, man. So yeah, he's in prison, not looking good. Not looking good. This guy was cracking me up that was in the prison with him. He's like, they know our thoughts. They're listening in the walls. Like his friend's been there a little bit too long. But he tries to give him some food. He tries to sneak him some food and be nice. And he ends up getting punished for that. And this was another very good scene because the warden's like, okay,
Yeah.
I know what you told me earlier, but I'm going to put you on blast in front of everyone.
Yep. And then he just is like, nope.
Mm-hmm. He's like, I want you to shock your friend there. And he acts like he's going to do it. And then whoop.
Yep.
He is just a bad dude. After that, the warden's had enough. He's like, your ass is going to Absalom. You're going to Absalom.
We're done with you. We're done with you.
Throwing his ass on Absalom with some teleporting rats. I didn't know the island had teleporting rats. They just appear out of nowhere. As soon as he landed there, he like looks up and there's like 100 rats on him, and he's like freaking out. I was just like, wow, the rats can teleport. But we're having fun here. But man, when he gets up and starts looking around,
Oh yeah.
and dude, things start getting intense.
Yeah.
Intense. And he runs into these primitives because you have the movie takes place. There's the outsiders run by Merrick, and then there's the insiders by the father. But there's other gangs. There's actually other groups out there, and you have the primitives who are more tribal-like. And these people have been here probably a lot earlier than everyone else.
Yeah.
That's why they're so tribal. But yeah, I wish we would have spent a little bit more time on the other gangs, but it's fine. We're still having fun here. Man.
It'd be interesting to see. Like, I think there could be more to this universe. I don't know if there's comic books or like I could even see like a pen and paper aspect of this universe. It would be a fun thing to figure out. Even like a Metal Gear Solid type game could be done now with this backstory. If done right, with the right studio, it could be done, and I think people would like it if it was popular. But it's like anything. You get these movies that are better than what they sell, and they kind of float. They get floated out there, and then you have your fans, and then That's it.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, man, we get some really intense, thrilling action here. Dude, how did they do that? That was like seamless shot. There was no edit.
Yeah.
That was great.
What I was wondering is they have a dummy. It swings up there. They pop it on.
Yeah.
Like, post it on and then swing back. But yeah, there isn't. I don't think there's an edit. And so
no, that was great.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a bunch of cool. Like, here's the weird thing about this movie, and I think for some that might be like a critique, is like you have really great like in time shots and special effects.
Yeah.
And then it's combined with some not so great computer graphics and or unbelievable. Like there's a disconnect there. And I wonder if it was a budgetary issue or a direction. See, that's why I want to hear like the backstory of it, because like, why did they go with that? Because there's some really great like costume design.
Oh yeah. The sets.
And like in-person stuff. Yeah. And it's combined with some stuff that's not good at all. And I wonder if they ran out of money. I just wonder that. Like
it could be.
It could be a budgetary issue. Like it just makes me scratch my head, because there's some amazing outfits and really draws you in when he is like, oh crap, I am like, with these savages and they are going to take me out and I need to get out of here. And it's just, and it's carried by I forget what the main villain
Merrick.
on the island.
Yeah,
what's his name? Yeah, Merrick. What a great villain. He is that he's no one to mess around with, and he's got great dialogue. It really carries to me, it carries that aspect of like, okay, we have a hero that, or I don't know, we have our character that's a badass. We also have a villain that can match him with being cunning and sinister, and it's not going to mess around with him. So,
yeah, definitely. But yeah, it doesn't go well. He did, our boy Robbins does well for a while, but they end up capturing him. They get him, and then they just for their entertainment, Merrick's like having him fight one of his minions, and it was quite hilarious. And you have all these great stunts and some really cool violence and action set pieces, but there's comedy in this movie too. There's dark comedy in here.
Yes. It's not just an action film, and I really think that they tried to have some chops with the dialogue. And I think that's where the movie shines. It's got some great kind of action scenes, and out of nowhere, what I like about it is the movie doesn't really hold your hand. It really tries to just throw some things at you, and you kind of have to decipher and figure some things out.
Yeah,
I do like that about the film, and definitely the action sequences are gratifying. So this, to me, like if this is like the B tier for the '90s of sci-fi action films to check out, this one sometimes escapes people.
Oh, hey!
I know that joke, but it's one I think that. For people that didn't grow up at that time, this is one that they're not going to know about, and one to definitely go back and revisit.
Yes, definitely, for sure. But Merrick is amazing in this. I feel that Merrick is one of the most underrated movie villains, in my opinion. And we have this funny dialogue back and forth between him and Robbins, and he's trying to get Robbins to join. And Robbins is like, "Yeah, I'll stay with you." And then this happens.
Listen, you gotta go, sweetheart. I'm not gonna stand in your way. I could probably use the stay. I'll stay. Promise to hire another lifeguard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Merrick did not like that. He was quite pissed.
No. And I like how fast it was. Like, I don't like it when like a movie telepaths what's going to happen.
Yeah.
And what's great about this film is it's like boom, 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 boom. like it just like throws you some quick action, and I think it does a good. That's when I think this works. This movie works with its quick action sequences and unpredictable events that happen. For me, at the end of the day, I like a good popcorn action film, and for me, I've very strong, vivid memories of watching this at home and walking away saying, that I like that.
Yeah.
And it all depends what type of critic you are. Like, are you going to pick apart a movie for like what it didn't do? And it really comes down to if a movie can get you in, the hook that gets you in. And this movie does a good job with that, with the characters, with the dialogue, with the villain, with the hero. The hero, Ray Liotta is not known as like someone that can carry a film, and this is an interesting role for him. I like him, but bringing up the fact that at the time Universal was working with Jean-Claude Van Damme. I wonder now. Holy cow! I'd love to see the Jean-Claude Van Damme version of this.
It would have been a hit.
It would have been a hit. It would have been a different movie, but because Ray's dialogue, Ray Liotta's dialogue in this, like he does a great job in this film, and I like it. But I wonder if like another character would have done a better job.
Yeah, we'll never know. But it would have been interesting to see Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Oh yeah.
But the chase continues, man. They're like, oh fuck this dude.
Oh yeah,
our boss look bad. Yeah, they're like, screw this guy. Yeah. And then we get this really great stunt right here, man. This was like, holy shit. I hope this guy got paid extra.
Bye.
Dude.
Yeah.
Good shit, man.
Yeah. I wonder if you think it could be a dummy, or you think that's an actual stunt person?
No, it was a real guy. And the reason why I know that is the little snippet of behind the scenes video.
Yeah.
Check this out.
Whoa. Whoa.
So while he was falling, they were lowering the camera person to try to get closer up, better angles as he was falling.
Holy cow.
I know, right?
They got probably some Daredevil. Well, I mean, there's like a whole crew of people that do those crazy stunts. But just talking to a few, not like a lot, but they love the more crazy it gets. And and they're excited about pulling it off.
Yeah.
Which is nuts. I wonder if that character that did that, the stunt person,
he got a rush.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. I wonder if you really enjoyed it, but holy cow! I for the longest time thought that wasn't real.
Yeah.
I thought, and he just like educated me on. Oh my gosh, that was an actual person. Holy cow! I never would do that.
Anything could go wrong with stunts like that. You know what I mean? So
yeah. Hopefully, there's no wind that day. You're going to be a pancake. You're going to be a red spot on the rocks. So, jeez.
But he falls in the water, our boy, our Robin's here, and he gets rescued by the insiders. They take him in, repair his leg, because his leg got screwed up from the outsiders earlier. And he's walking around like, what is going on? He's just like tripping because it's domestic. There's animals. Yeah. There's a little bit of electricity. He's like, what is happening? And I think going back to what you were mentioning earlier, I think the small budget that they had, they used it to the best that they could in terms of majority of the budget probably went to like the sets, right? And not necessarily because this whole set where the insiders live with the defense walls and all that stuff to keep the outsiders out, they built all this from scratch. So a lot of the money went there.
Yeah,
and not to CGI.
Believable. Yeah, then they spent a lot of time there. It was just a weird contrast because you have that, and then you have the outsiders camp, which is awesome. And then it's like combined with the start of the film where you're at this like prison. It's just very, I don't know. It's very like low budget TV of the time. Like it just it doesn't fit with the rest of the film. And I know it's a different setting and theme, but it just doesn't. That's the hard part. And I wonder if they had to go back and do that at the end when they didn't have money. Maybe it makes me wonder like when they created it and when like what in what order did they create the sets and do it, and was there a time crunch? Because every movies I made that I watch on Netflix talks about, oh yeah, we were over budget and behind schedule, and we had to do this shot in like, you know, half the time, or people were fighting, or I don't know, who knows. Like,
It happens.
makes me wonder.
It happens, and a lot of times location costs more money than anything else.
Oh, yeah.
That's why Peter Jackson only shot his Lord of the Rings trilogy in New Zealand, because it was cheaper to shoot there.
Yeah,
that's the only reason he shot it there.
Yeah, with the truck in the background. I love that. I love that.
But he gets introduced to the father by Lance Henriksen. What I love about when you get introduced to all the side characters, Ernie Hudson and Dylan and everyone else in the film, is slowly throughout the movie you kind of get a little snippet of their backstory. You know, why they got put in there. You know, which makes it interesting. You know, like, did the father, who was a very successful surgeon, he caught his wife cheating. Did he kill his wife? Because apparently everyone says he was innocent, but he got sent to Absalom Island. You know what I mean? So it's like, you know, and then Dylan here was involved with kidnapping, but
accomplice.
You know, no one is like clean cut here. Like, there's a lot of gray characters. You know what I mean?
Dylan was the accomplice, right? Like, he was like a driver or something. He wasn't like the main person. He was just kind of caught up in.
Yeah, just caught up with some bad dudes, you know, and it didn't go well for the kids they kidnapped, but which kind of haunted him too, you know, throughout the movie. He had issues dealing with that. He ended up kind of liking Robbins here, you know. He you know, because I think at this point, Robbins' character was the only guy who survived the Outsiders camp and got away.
Oh yeah,
so
he definitely like has proven himself to be skilled.
Yeah, so, you know, word got around and everyone's like, who's this badass? Who's this guy? So, you know, Dylan's character ended up really kind of looking up to him and stuff like that, kind of like a big brother, whatnot. I kind of liked Dysart. I wanted more scenes with Dysart. This is very good actor, this guy. But he's kind of the brains, you know, technology and whatnot.
He made a bomb, right? That's why he was there.
Dysart?
Correctly, he made a bomb.
They're trying to make a. No, it was hidden. No one knew yet, but they were making a boat.
Yeah, he was on the island because of making a bomb, right?
Yes. That's. Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, and what's interesting is you know, some of the other inmates want to get off the island, but he told Robbins that he was like, no, I belong here. He's like, I don't deserve because of what he did, you know, which was interesting. He's like, I belong here. But you know, throughout the movie, everything seems to be, you know, kind of, you know, pure. You have freedom here, you know, everyone's nice, everything's great, but they got rules.
Yes,
they got rules, man.
Yes, they do.
This gentleman here, poor guy, kept falling asleep at his post.
Yeah,
and they were like, we got to kick you out. So, you know, there's still rules there. They still have rules.
Well, Robbins is still trying to figure it out, because I think he, knowing that there's like people that are there and they're trying to do the right thing, but he knows that there's probably more to it. But it's interesting to see, like, he doesn't really fit in, but he's like, but these two factions are making him kind of figure things out about himself. You know, he wants to help them, but he knows that there's other things going on, as you know, you alluded to earlier with the boat. And he discovered that, and then they came clean about it, right? And so they couldn't talk about it because they were in secret working on it for 18 months or what, X amount of whatever, a long time. So and it's one of those things where he was the new guy, they didn't trust him, so they wanted to tell him as much as they could, but they couldn't tell him everything.
And you know, you get these little moments when they're having the Christmas party.
Oh yeah,
is this considered a Christmas movie now?
Yeah, that's a good one.
That's it. No escape for Christmas. Even
male cast too. All male cast. I do believe there isn't a female in the movie, correct?
No female. But even Merrick was whistling holiday tunes. So that's it. Confirmed right here on the channel. No Escape Christmas movie.
Yeah, it is No Escape a Christmas movie. Yeah, I love it.
But what's interesting is they have a mole working
Yes.
in the outsiders camp. But what they don't know is that the warden has a mole on the insiders camp, keeping tabs on everyone. But the warden is watching from above, from via satellite because, he doesn't give a shit if they kill each other. Like he doesn't really care that much.
No, he doesn't
But
want
with-
any attention. Like his
Yeah.
big thing is he doesn't want the rest of the world to know about this crazy island, right? Because the whole world doesn't know about this island,
That's right.
and that was the big deal about the gun that was it Robinson he had at the start, because that could cause an explosion that would then the satellites would detect, and then it would be discovered about this craziness.
Yeah. Excellent. But excellent. But yeah, we have some other little fun side characters, like the one guy who was like trying to trade and try to get his boots.
Oh
he's
yeah,
like,
that was like the guy with the bad teeth. Yes. And,
he's like, hey man, if you die, let's make an agreement right now. If you die, I get the boots, right? Come on, I get the boots. I wonder if this was a Field of Dreams little Easter egg, because you notice he goes, hey, you look like a ball player. It looks like you play ball. And then he picks up a mitt.
Yes.
And then he goes, you want this mitt?
I didn't think about that, but yeah, totally. I wonder.
Yeah, if that was on purpose.
That has to be it. There had to be a little subtle nod.
I see what you did there. But let's get to my favorite action sequence in the movie. Let's get to the raid.
Oh yeah.
Oh man. So Merrick and them, they're like, all right, let's go ahead and get these dudes. But the insiders got tipped off by their mole, so they were ready. Even though they were partying, having their Christmas party and all that, they were still ready for them. And man, this had everything. You had stuntman being set on fire. You had martial arts. Dysart even concocted his own scientific gun to use on people. You had combat. Ray Liotta was doing his thing, breaking necks. I mean, we were all. It was phenomenal. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about, man. Excitement, action. Yeah. It's funny because I had your same reaction the first time I saw the movie. I was like, I like that. It was entertaining. Mm-hmm. The more I watch it and revisit it over the years, the more I like this movie.
Yeah.
Like it has grown on me.
Well, and I think it's a good example for everything is remade and redone and remastered, and I'm in a small little capsule that I kind of like that this stands on its own, and it's out there, and it's not been overhyped or overpromised. It came out, it didn't make money, and it was it. But there's enough people that like it, that appreciate it. It stands on its own. So the story, a nice thing about this too is the story is just all in that movie. Like there's no sequels, it's based on a book, and I don't know if the book has sequels, but it's all in one shot. You can watch this, and that's a complete story.
Yeah,
and it's interesting. Yeah, I think it does. I think it is. And, I was looking at Rotten Tomatoes even, and it's crazy. Low scores.
Yeah, it's kind of sad.
Both
even
public,
the audience.
Yeah, reviewers and actual public. And I don't get that. I don't think it's, for me, it's a solid, like if I was, like on a 10-point scale, a 7 out of 10, maybe a 7.5 on a good day. Like, and I'm not going to compare this to a AAA blockbuster.
No.
But for like renting, like back in the day, this is so much better than some of the other garbage that came out. Especially for like an unknown. Like I had no idea what to expect when I rented this. Like I was like, okay, it looks cool. I didn't know who Ray Liotta was back in the day. And I honestly at the time probably didn't look at Ernie Hudson and be like, that's the Ghostbusters guy. Right. I just saw the front and it looked kind of cool and different, and that science fiction post-apocalyptic vibe. Cool.
Yeah.
Sign me up.
Yeah, and that's how we review movies here on our channel. Everybody's different, and movies are subjective, but that's how we review movies on our channel. What genre is this representing?
Yes.
Okay, the not big budget,
Yeah.
post-apocalyptic sci-fi action genre.
Yeah.
Okay, boom. That's how I would rate it. That's how I would review it. You know what I mean? But yeah, that's how we do things here. We do things here
Awesome.
different.
It makes you a
I've
great
seen-
channel.
What's up?
It makes you a great channel.
Oh, well, thank you, sir. Thank you, sir, so much. But yeah, so after that raid failure, things are not looking too good back in the Outsiders camp. And now I'm going to show one of my favorite scenes from the movie.
We're sick of you telling us when we can't eat and when we can't. Maybe somebody else should be given the orders. Really? Do you have anybody particular in mind? What about the con who stole the gun? Gave you a bath? Maybe we should ask him. That's not funny. Now that's funny!
I like the little smile he gave before he walked away.
That was crazy. I remember when I first saw it, I'm like, oh my gosh, that was awesome. And again, it's an example of the little, I don't know, I'm not like super critic of movies, but that just quick action that you didn't expect. I love that this movie sprinkles those along the way. And this is a good example of like, it fits that character. Yes, he would do that. He was pissed off at that guy for saying that, and boom, he's not going to put up with his shit. And just and then I just love that that's just a cool scene. I can see why that's one of your favorite parts of this film.
Oh yeah, I love Samurai Guy loves that kind of stuff. But I forgot to mention that during the raid there was actually the first altercation between Merrick and Robbins there. They had a little bit of fight scene. They were fighting each other while Merrick's top minion was on fire in the same room. But there was some funny dialogue Merrick had with the father before the shit hit the fan. When Robbins got up there and he's like fucking with him, he's all like, oh, look at all these books. This is fantastic. Because he's in the father's room and he grabs a book and he's like, I've always wanted to read this. Basket weaving, a creative choice. And now I'm going to kill you. Oh, it's great. He's so good. I just forgot to mention that. So we had a scene earlier where they do it like a test run with one of their boats and it doesn't work out. The warden gets word of it. Helicopters show up and blow up the boat, which really kind of crushes everyone's. They're like, fuck. So the distributor is a part they need because Dysart's already.
He has to go get it.
Yeah, I forgot. This is like a big scene. I forgot about that. And Robbins makes a deal with father. He's like, look, let me pilot the boat. Let me get out of here. But the deal we'll make is I'll risk my life going out there to the outsider camp, get the disruptor, bring it back. Boom. That's the deal. So father's like, all right, fine, go ahead. So he's on his way there, and Dylan's character keeps following him. He keeps telling him, he's like, look, you can't follow me, man. Yeah. He's like, have you ever killed anyone? It was a really good scene. He had him posted up against the tree. He's like, have you ever killed anyone? Have you ever killed anyone? No. And he's like, that's where I'm going. That's where I'm going to have to do. And I need you to go back to the base, So it was a really good scene they had. Casey was his name.
Yeah.
But he kept following them and ends up getting caught. I was like, good job, dumbass. And Robbins tries to cause a distraction with some explosions. There were some fun little tidbits of action here with Robbins where I think my favorite was he had the two guards on the tower and they crossed each other like this. And then he, boom, crossbow, hit them both in the neck with one arrow. That was great. So he had two bodies falling like that. That was really cool. But yeah, he tried to get away. Didn't work. Like you said, Merrick he's smart too. You know what I mean? So he cuts him off. and basically forces them to fight each other. And this was an interesting scene here. Kind of reminded me of Spartacus. At the end of Spartacus with Kirk Douglas here. And kind of similar to Spartacus, Casey kind of says, look, you have to kill me, man, because you're our only hope, really. Everyone else's only hope, the insider's only hope. So he kind of kills him and kind of doesn't. It's kind of accidental, but he ends up stabbing the kid. And of course, he's really distraught by that. He's about to get his head cut off after Merrick has a few more one-liners to give him. But that mole that was inside the Outsiders camp sets him free. And the mole ends up getting fucked up later. Do you remember what happened?
Oh, yeah. Beheaded, right? And it shows his head on a stake.
Yes. Yeah. Ray Liotta takes the hood off and he's like, oh, shit. Liotta goes back with the disruptor. They finish making the boat, but they know, Merrick's coming. And then we get another great scene. Mr. Scene Stealer himself. So Merrick at this point's like, all right, we got our butts kicked with the raid. We got humiliated. And the guy came in, fucked with our stuff, and left. Fuck this. So this is like another one of my favorite scenes. So he walks out. Merrick just walks out with this big bag. And I'm like, the first time I saw the movie, I'm like, what's in that bag? He dumps out the bag, a whole bunch of decapitated heads. And then he looks at all the gangs. He's like, all right, that's it. No more gangs. No more beef. We're all coming together. All right. And we're going to attack them and we're going to fuck them up. Really, all I really want to say is I really just want to be in charge. So it's another great scene from Merrick, man.
He reminds me of like a Star Trek villain.
A little bit.
Like, he had that, like, I don't know if it's the 90s, but like it definitely, I kept wondering because and you're gonna laugh at this. So
okay.
He kind of has a resemblance of Star Trek's Spock's brother.
Oh, I can see that.
Spock's brother in Star Trek. Which one is that?
5?
Yeah, 5, which is not the good Star Trek, but he reminds me of that character who plays Spock's brother.
Yeah, a little bit. I could see.
And for a while, I actually thought it. When I was younger, I thought it was like, are they the same actor? No, but he has that resemblance. His acting reminds me. He's he was well versed, and I don't know what other villains he's played, but I'm sure he's played many other villains because he did excellent in this film. I think he's one of the best actors in this film. He carries the film. Whenever you look at any great film, you have to have a believable villain, and it's a bonus if they can act. Yes. And even if they can't act, can they be badass with action? Okay, right. We'll get that. But this guy is both. He's believable. He's cunning. He has great dialogue.
Ruthless.
I actually probably need to search IMDb to see what else he's in, just because I'm curious, because I probably will enjoy it because this guy's a great actor, and I'm sure he's done other things.
Have you seen Hot Fuzz?
No.
Oh my God! No. You want to watch a good action comedy? Check out Hot Fuzz. It's like a love letter. It's like a love letter to 80s and 90s action movies.
Is he in it?
He's in it.
Great!
I don't want to spoil the movie for you.
Okay, I'll go check it out. I'm writing it down now. Hot Fuzz.
Timothy Dalton is great. He's in it as well.
Hot Fuzz.
All right, moving on here. So, were you disappointed with the finale, the climax, or you liked it?
I don't know. Like for me, I was fine. It was fine. They had to end it somehow. It's kind of tough too because you like all the action and violence that this film has and the dystopian environment. But what's kind of tough with some films is they stay there too long, or they stay there too short, or they don't do enough on character development. And honestly, this film does a good job of environment. It does delve into what makes Merrick tick, and the good guys and the outsiders and the insiders and that. And I think it's like the happy medium because I'm a big fan. Does it tie it in a nice bow, or does it end it on a note that people will be satisfied? And in a movie like this, it could have ended, I guess, in a couple different ways. Right. You could have like the John Carpenter The Thing kind of ending where they just stayed screwed. and that's it. I like the ending where I do believe when I say it, are we waiting on that? So
Oh no, we're getting to it right now.
so the warden gets thrown back. He gets thrown onto the island, and he has to. I like that. I think that's
that was great. That was great.
I liked it. I think that was a cool ending and a cool way of doing it.
Yeah, and I love how the you hear the howling of the primitives.
Yeah.
You're like getting closer to them, and they're looking around, you know, and the warden and the mole are looking around, and then it goes straight to credits.
And they're still around.
great.
Like I think it also shows that, like, okay, you know, Merrick and all that was taken care of. Awesome ending, by the way, on that.
Oh, I'm gonna
cool.
let's show a little clip of that.
Okay,
So
let's show the
The
crazy
bait and
ending.
switch. The bait and switch. So they bring they raid again the base, and no one's in there, and then this happens.
Love this. Yeah,
Yeah.
that was awesome.
Yes.
Yes.
That's how you do it.
Yeah,
And you know, the movie's like, no, we're not done. The movie's like, we're not done.
No.
Because Merrick made it personal with Robbins. So we go, you know, we ain't done yet. We gotta reward the audience and give them a great bad guy death, guy movie death. Yeah.
that was awesome. That's like Mortal Kombat style there. And again, I think that this movie shines with stuff like that. The action sequences were done right.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's just some of the other extra aesthetics I'm just going to go ahead and predict that it's due to budgetary restrictions. There was some extra aesthetics that this movie could benefit from. Unfortunately, some of them were at the start of the film. And so I think that really, because I think once you get into this film, and like you say, the more you watch it, the more you like it. And I'm in the same boat. Like this movie, it fares far better than people give it credit for. I do think it's underrated.
Yes.
And just for that, like, that was amazing. It was an amazing ending. And I do believe they had to edit it, at least the UK, they had to edit one version of it to get a lower rating.
Really?
Because that was pretty gruesome. And awesome.
Yeah.
I need like the Arnold Schwarzenegger line now, like "stick around,"
Yeah.
something like that. But yeah, no, it was a fantastic, like, to me too, and the action sprinkled all along in the film. Like sometimes films will have boom, 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 and then it's kind of like, you know, it builds up.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that the film does a good job with having action throughout the sequences.
Yeah, the way the audience is not bored. But like you were saying earlier, you get some interesting characters. You know what I mean, to keep you invested. But yeah, even after our main villain gets impaled, after the amazing explosion, things still weren't wrapped up that sweet yet.
No,
because the mole took out their second boat, killed poor Dysart. Unfortunately, but they found the mole's cross necklace, caught up with him, and that's when they used him to communicate with the warden to bring him down the helicopter, and they took that son of a bitch over. And like you were saying, what a great finale, rewarding the audience. And if anything, I guess you could sequel this movie if he gets off and, you know, he gets back to the land and he tells other people about it, what's really going on that island, and spreads the word, but it's not needed.
Because, you know, that they probably know about the island now, or they get off and they can tell their story or have a life. And it's, it's interesting. But, you know, I think, you know, I'd be okay if they redid the film, if done right.
For a remake?
Like a recreation of it. But I don't think it needs to be done. It's one of those things where, yes, it's a little dated because it's from the 90s, but the sets and the actors in it, and such there's some iconic, you know, side characters in this film all put together that make this film watchable. I do recommend it. Anybody that's looking for a great 90s film, especially mid 90s, you know, thumbs up for me.
That's
Not
right.
perfect, but for I'd rate it higher in that category of B movies that you probably haven't seen from the 90s.
Yes, yes, for sure. So you already heard John say it. That's right. Is it underrated? That's right. John says yes.
Yes.
Samurai Guy. Y'all knew I was going to say yes.
Yeah.
But I have some good news. I wanted to save it to the end. That's why I didn't say anything earlier. When you mentioned it earlier about is there a Blu-ray? Well, I have good news for you, John, and everyone watching. Now, finally, coming out this year, John, in October.
Yeah.
No
Yeah.
Escapes coming on Blu-ray with tons of special features. I cannot wait.
Okay.
Yes. I had to save it for a surprise
Oh,
for you.
awesome. And it's funny, and the film's in 2022, which is cool that it's coming out in 2022.
There you go.
That's neat. But I do wonder, hopefully on these extras,
Mhm.
that on this Blu-ray, that
Yeah.
they'll talk about something about the budget or time constraints. Like I have so many questions about the production of this, and it'll be interesting to see if there's any of that on the Blu-ray.
Yes, yes, for sure. So you guys make sure you go out and buy the Blu-ray. That's right. Make a movie marathon out of it, man. Sci-fi action Friday. Put No Escape on the list. You guys are going to be entertained.
A solid
All right.
2-hour film too, and it's not it's not too short, it's not too long, it's Goldilocks, just right on time.
Oh yeah, yeah. It is a fun flick, and that's all we want. We just want to be entertained.
That's right.
All right. Let's go ahead and wrap it up for today. I'd like to thank the immortal John Hancock. Thank you, brother, for hanging out with me today.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me on. You got a great channel, and it was great talking film with you.
Oh, yeah. Well, I appreciate you being here, my friend. And everybody watching right now, y'all know what you need to do. Look at the description box below and subscribe to John. That's right. Fun channel. Great badass. That's right. If you guys are into video games, that's where you need to go and be. And if you're into movies, hey, go ahead and subscribe to the Old Samurai Guy. And we'll see you guys on the next one. Take care.